The number of diesel engines on the market is only increasing every year, and since I have already recorded a video about which ones to watch out for, it is logical that it is time to make a selection of the best heavy fuel engines. Let's start with the legend. A series of diesel engines Mercedes OM602 for 2.5 and 2.9 liters was assembled from 1985 to 2001 and installed on many popular models of the concern. The list can be seen in the description of the video. These 5-cylinder, 2-valve powertrains set the standard for reliability. The timing chain here can last longer than a conventional modern engine. Motors differed not only in reliability, but also in economy. Despite the low power, it reached 130 horsepower. Such power units had very impressive technical characteristics. Their durability is evidenced by the fact that the mileage of some specimens exceeds 1,500,000 kilometers and the record figures exceeded 2 million kilometers on one engine. And in modern realities, these are just cosmic indicators. How to do without the French in the list of the best diesels? The French concern PSA was one of the first manufacturers of passenger cars to create diesel engines with a common rail fuel system. 2.0 HDI is a very resource unit. Especially the first-generation variants from 1999 to 2006. The 8-valve engine easily goes over 500,000 kilometers without requiring any kind of refined level of service. Initially, it had a power of 90 or 109 horsepower. In subsequent years the power of the unit increased to 136, 140, 150, 163 and 180 horsepower. The motors are well known not only from Peugeot and Citroën, but also from Ford, Volvo, Suzuki, and Fiat. The 16-valve 2.0 HDI is just as reliable, but not at the same level. In general, an excellent unit, which to this day pleases its owners. The next no less reliable diesel engine is the 2.4D from Volvo. For many years the Swedish car manufacturer has been seen as the author of excellent gasoline engines, and especially those equipped with a turbocharger. Turbo petrol engines from Volvo were the main pride of the brand. In the 90s, the Swedes bought diesels from Renault and Volkswagen. In 2001, the Scandinavian concern introduced to the world its own design, 2.4D. The block is equipped with a 5-cylinder boxer head. Depending on the year of manufacture, the engine had 10 or 20-valve technology and mandatory turbocharging. The most popular varieties with a capacity of 130, 163, 184 and even 215 horsepower. The manufacturer used in it a highly efficient, direct common rail fuel injection. The resource of the power unit during normal maintenance can easily withstand 500 to 700,000 kilometers. It is impossible not to include in this list the engine from the VAG group, and this is 1.9 TDI. With some modifications, this engine has been available on the market for over 20 years. The 1.9 TDI engine family is famous for its reliability and resource, but subject to the use of high-quality fuels and lubricants. This can be said about engines with direct fuel injection from the 1990s, and about modifications with unit injectors from the 2000s. 1.9 TDI can be found in Audi, Seat, SKODA, VW, Ford, and more. Of course, for so many years of operation, there are various defects and breakdowns, but in general, they pass their 400,000 kilometers for some versions. There are complaints about the wear of the camshaft cams, variable geometry turbines and unit injectors, although they are reliable, but in case of failure of the road to be replaced. And yet, with proper operation, 1.9 TDI engines are capable of reliably serving hundreds of thousands of kilometers. Bavarian BMW M57 engines are no less deserved than Mercedes units. These inline 6-cylinder diesels, in addition to impressive reliability, were also distinguished by a very lively disposition, contributing a lot to changing the image of the diesel engine. It is no longer possible to perceive the BMW 330d in the back of the E46 as a slow car for pensioners or taxi drivers. The power of these motors in different versions ranged from 201 horsepower up to 286 horsepower, and they were produced from 1998 to 2008 and were on most Bavarian models of the decade. All of them, from the 3rd series to the 7th, had variants with the M57. They are also found on the Range Rover. The resource of motors is quite high. They may have quite a few minor problems, but there are practically no major breakdowns. So, the engines work fine up to a run of 400 to 500,000 kilometers. Japanese manufacturers did not bypass this list either. Let's take a look at the Honda 2.2 i-CTDi first. The positive reviews have made the 2.2 i-CTDi engine so popular that it's nearly impossible to buy one cheaply, even if you're buying a heavily used car. This is not surprising, because experts consider it reliable, durable, and dynamic. Although there are still weaknesses in it. He is known for his dislike of frost. When the temperature drops below -15 degrees, problems begin. If you refuel with not quite winter fuel, then the heating of the fuel filter simply does not cope with its task and the Japanese diesel engine simply does not start. Its resource is estimated at 350,000 kilometers. The 4.2-liter Toyota 1HD engine, which was installed on the Land Cruiser 800 and 100 series, is a real long liver. This applies both to the time of its production and the service life. Less than 600,000 kilometers is the exception rather than the rule. By the way, the atmospheric version of 1HC is even more durable and hardy, but it is even rarer in our area. There are legends about the durability of these motors, but they also provoke a barbaric attitude towards them. Meanwhile, the violation of the terms of service leads to problems. So, the absence of hydraulic compensators turns into the need to check and adjust the thermal clearances of the valves every 40,000 kilometers. By the way, the gas distribution mechanism is not one of the strengths of the engine and, with significant mileage, may require repair. But even this cannot seriously affect the formed image of the eternal diesel engine. Another reliable engine from Toyota is the 1.4-liter 1ND/TV or 1.4D/4D diesel engine, which the company has been producing since 2002 and installs on the most popular models for the European market, such as Yaris, IQ, and Corolla. The company developed its own diesel engine. The result is one of the best diesel engines for small cars. It easily passes 500,000 kilometers in dynamics, the motor behaves perfectly, and the environmental characteristics are very good even according to modern requirements, although the unit was developed back in 2002. Next, consider the budget, but very hardy version of the joint efforts of the Japanese company Isuzu and GM. It is based on the design of the time-tested 4EE1. The main differences are the 16-valve cylinder head and DTI direct fuel injection, and later common rail or CDTI. In general, over the years of production, there have been a lot of modifications, the type of fuel system, as well as its manufacturer, with a conventional turbine or with variable geometry, with or without a particulate filter. Of course, the more systems, the more possible breakdowns. According to the masters specializing in the Opel brand, these engines easily overcome 400,000 kilometers without the need to repair or replace the piston group. In general, you don't have to worry about hardware, it is designed for long-term operation. Fiat 2.4 JTD 5-cylinder turbo diesel with common rail fuel system is distinguished by locomotive traction and good efficiency. But the main thing is that in terms of reliability and cost of maintenance repair, it is quite comparable with motors of competing brands. For versions with 20 valves, it happens that you have to remove the exhaust manifold, as exhaust gases break through due to a broken stud. Also, with age, the work of the EGR raises questions, and after 250,000 kilometers, the turbine may already require repair or replacement. But the iron itself will withstand 2 or even 3 such runs. The Italian's diesel turned out to be really strong. Among the best, you can add the Hyundai Kia 1.6 CRD engine with the D4FB index. Serial production of diesel engines began in 2006 at an assembly plant located in Slovakia. The power of the units is in the range from 90 to 136 horsepower. The Korean development is distinguished by its simple design, so it is an unpretentious and reliable engine, but demanding on fuel quality. However, it uses all modern technologies, the Bosch Common Rail Fuel System, variable geometry turbocharging, swirl flap system and much more. This engine is ahead of most competitors in terms of reliability, while it has low fuel consumption and is easy to start in cold weather. Plus, it runs quieter than other diesel engines. The weak point of the engines of the first years of production was the turbine, which failed due to oil starvation at runs from 30 to 100,000 kilometers later. The plant modernized the lubrication system, and the compressor supplier began manufacturing improved units. Complaints are caused by the boost pressure sensor and the fuel pressure regulator, which is installed on the ramp. Otherwise, this is a durable unit that rolls 300,000 easily. The 1.6-liter engine is very widely used in Kia and Hyundai cars created for the European market and the CIS. Mercedes 3.0 CDI 6-cylinder OM642 in various modifications and power options is hidden under the indices 280 CDI, 300 CDI, 320 CDI, and 350 CDI and has been installed on Mercedes models since 2005, as well as for a number of markets on Chrysler, Dodge, and Jeep. This is a worthy successor to the old million-plus motors. In terms of hardware, the diesel turned out to be traditionally strong. The timing chain runs much longer than on gasoline engines, and only stretches at high mileage. The particulate filter will live for a long time, provided that it is burned in a timely manner, as well as the use of oil with a Mercedes 229.31 approval. The only offensive puncture, the exhaust manifold is made of high-carbon steel. At the welding points, small particles can break off and enter the hot wheel of the turbine, disabling it. Everything else, like braking swirl flaps, is trifles. Well, the last 3.0 V6 TDI engine from VAG Group, the 3-liter 6, is found mainly on Audi models, and this is an excellent option for those who want to get not only a powerful engine, but also one that does not ruin fuel and repairs. It was not without flaws at all, but the overall level of reliability is high, as is the resource. However, the conditions for a long and happy life of the motor are the same: high-quality fuels and lubricants and timely service. Well, it will be very interesting to know if you agree with this list, and that's all for me. Thank you all for your attention. I will be very grateful if you subscribe to the channel. See you soon.